good to be out in Queens. You know, I grew up down the block. From here, went to PS 140, IS8, Bayside High School. I remember when this property was an attorney. He had this whole big stretch before the center was built here. It was an attorney that lived on the corner of Sayers and 167. And a lot of history here in this community. And it's good to be here. And I just want to hear from you. This is number what?
22.
Number 22, older adult town halls, 38 town halls. We had one last night in Brooklyn. And so, let's go back and look at January 1st, 2021, when I became the mayor of the city. I'm sworn in January 2022, I should say. Crime was through the roof. Unemployment was high, particularly black and brown community. Black unemployment was 4 times the rate of white unemployment. The foster care children were slipping through the cracks. Our babies were not learning in the school system. Affordable housing, particularly senior housing, was something that was fleeing. Living in shelters, we were not building housing for those who lived in shelters. Our streets was proliferated with guns, of shootings after shootings. Jobs were not in the city. Tourism was not in the city. Those who lived in NYCHA and public housing did not have access to high-speed broadband. People were overwhelmed with medical debt. This city was a different place. We had something called COVID. Many of us forgot about it, but it was everywhere. And then out of nowhere, we had 230,000 migrants and asylum seekers that were dropped into the city. And as the mayor, I couldn't stop the buses from coming in. People were stopping me on the street saying, "Eric, what are you doing?" No, I couldn't stop the buses from coming in. It was against federal law. I could not allow the migrants and asylum seekers to work. That was against federal law. A group of them came to me and said, "We would like to volunteer and clean the streets and remove graffiti for stipend." The federal government said, "No, you cannot do that, Eric," as well. We had to feed, clothe, house based on city laws. And I had one North Star, to make sure that no child and family slept on the streets of the city, and we accomplished that. But where are we now? 3 years, 3 months later. We have more jobs in the city's history. In year 1 and year 2, we build more affordable housing in those individual years in the city history. Move more people out of homeless shelter into permanent housing in the city's history. More people participate in the FEPS voucher program in the city history. 21,000 illegal guns removed off our streets. This quarter, we're at the lowest number of shootings in the city's history. Second lowest homicide in the city's history. We paid a college tuition for foster care children, give them a stipend so they can graduate and not slip through the cracks. NYCHA residents have high-speed broadband because when I was borough president, I was knocking on doors, giving out face masks to people in NYCHA and other housing facilities. And I learned that they did not have access to high-speed broadband, so their children could not do remote learning and their parents could not do telemedicine. We placed high-speed broadband in NYCHA facilities for free. We're paying off billions of dollars in medical debt. Number one cause of bankruptcies, medical debt. We're paying off billions of dollars in medical debts. We cut unemployment by 20% in the black and brown community, and we cut it in every demographic throughout the city. All the major crime numbers are down. 5 straight quarters of decreasing crime in the city. We removed 80,000 illegal vehicles off this street. 80,000 illegal vehicles off the streets of the city of New York. And those scooters that everyone is trying to navigate, that is part of the number that we removed in the process. Our children are outpacing the state in reading and math. We have removed the encampments off our streets. Those that you saw throughout the city, sleeping on the side of highways, sleeping in the subway station, sleeping on corners. We turned this city around, folks. We turned this city around. And no one wants to acknowledge that. But the reality we did it. Let me tell you something. There were people who were angry when I won the election, and they have not stopped pouting since I've been the mayor. They're still angry because I was clear on my message. My message was a clear one. Working class people, they were my North Star. Then out of nowhere, I had the migrant asylum seeker crisis. Then out of nowhere, when I started complaining about 4,000 people a week were coming into our city, 8,000 every 2 weeks. When I had the audacity to tell the federal government, you're costing the city billions of dollars that we should be contributing to the people of this city, they decided, we're going to teach you a lesson. Out of nowhere, I get these bogus charges that were placed on me. I grew up in this community. I did not become the mayor to break the law. I became the mayor to enforce the law and to protect this city like I did when I put on that bulletproof vest as a police officer. And so I'm happy that the Justice Department came in and did a reanalysis of it and saw some of those text messages that had to be revealed of what was being said, about me. This was a weight on my shoulders. Now, did I trust people I should not trust? I'm 65 years old. Can anyone in this room say they trust everybody they had in their lives didn't break their hearts? Some people broke my heart. Some people did things that they should not have done. But I did not break the law. And I would never break the law. That's the life that I live. And I thank God. I thank God. I thank God for looking at his little dyslexic person and allowed him to be elected to be the mayor of the city of New York. And so I know you read a lot, but you're not going to hear all the things we have done. You're not going to hear the success, how we turned around the city, the fourth largest tourism in the history of the city. You're not going to hear what we've done, reducing the cost of child care from $55 a week to less than $5 a week. You're not going to hear our investment in keeping whole harmless our adult daycare centers. You're not going to hear that. But go back over 30 years ago when we had another mayor of color named David Dinkins, and you picked up the papers. Every day they were attacking him with one mission, that he could not have 2 terms as mayor. They put the same rule book, and we heard folks that looked like David leading the charge saying, no, he's not competent to run the city. I'm more than competent, and my team has shown the largest city in America, we've turned around and put them on the right path. And don't let those haters try to stop us from having another term. All these folks are running. They are running from their record. I'm running on my record. And that's a big difference. It's a big difference. And so I want to open up, and I'll have you answer some questions. I'm transparent. Whatever question you have, we are more than willing to answer them. But again, I thank you for allowing me to come here today and communicate with you and hear from our team, this amazing team that I have behind me, part of our team, to share with what we're doing in the city. So where am I starting? Oh, I'm sorry. Before you do, I'm sorry. We handed out these magnets. You know, whenever there's an emergency, I learned in my law enforcement days, when you're going through some type of crisis, the basic information is difficult to find. Please grab one, fill it out, put it on your fridge or anywhere. If someone has to respond, they can have that information readily available and handy. So grab one for yourself, for your spouse, for your boo, whoever you want to grab it for, and just fill it out, okay? Okay. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Good afternoon, Mayor Adams. Thank you for having this forum. My name is Melissa Marcus. I'm the Executive Director, if in case you didn't know, Alpha Phi Alpha Senior Center. So our question is, there is an abundance of trash in our community throughout. There's more people, there's more residents, more houses being built. We know there used to be a volunteer program that helped with the trash. We'd ask you to address that. And we're first, so you can't copy my answer. Thank you.
Run that by again. Are there specific, and for I'm glad you did start up first. For all the tables that we speak with, the more you zero in on where you're seeing the problem, the team can respond. So if you see a corridor that's a problem, you see a problem wherever it is, the more you zero in for us, then we can specifically go there and respond and get it done. I know it's probably overall there's an issue, but if there's some specific corridors, we have folks here who are from DSNY. Okay?
Yes. When we were talking about Cambria Heights, specifically Jamaica, we have locations, but we can give you that after.
Okay, but so what you find? Street garbage, not alternate side of the street?
Yeah, all over.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry? Uh-huh. Okay,
Parks.
so in the parks? Okay. We increased the parks cleanup. We had something, you ever hear that term, no man's land? That was happening in the city. We had places in the city that we weren't even, I didn't realize until we came into office. We had places in the city where no one was assigned to clean. You ever see those areas where they're always dirty? And so when we zeroed in on a previous park commissioner, Commissioner Tish, we started covering those no man's lands, and we increased the number of people who clean in the parks because the Department of Sanitation could assist them better than the small parks crew. So we talking about St. Albans Park? We talking about which park?
We saw Roy Wilkins Park.
Roy Wilkins? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So can we partner with the first and find out the exact locations? You know. Wait. Okay. Our new deputy. Did you get a chance to speak? You want to? No, but she's not in deputy mayor of operations. You know. So we come to her. You know, okay, so he's gonna sit down with the table, and we're gonna pinpoint some locations. There was something else you wanted to add? I see you whispering to her. Yeah, are you sure? Okay. Mark, is your mother here? How are you doing? Mark, our Deputy Commissioner of Community Affairs. He and I came out of the police academy together, and his mother is here. Her husband was a detective. He was my mentor when he was in the department. It's good to see her.
Hello, everybody. My name is Beverly. We have a problem on 228th Street. We need a speed bump.
On which street?
228 in Laurelton.
Come on.
We have to.
Okay. Here you are. Grab a mic. I'm gonna have you. Speed bump.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Nicole Garcia, and I'm the Queensborough Commissioner for New York City DOT. We'd be happy to look into the feasibility of a speed bump. And if it doesn't meet the criteria, there's obviously other things in our toolkit that we can add to the street to further calm traffic. It's just so they'll understand, and I will also. What are the normal criteria for speed bumps? What do they look for? The number of traffic? What is it? Mm-hmm. So we definitely evaluate traffic speeds. But another thing is that if there are a lot of driveways on a street, we don't want to put a speed bump where the driveways are. So some streets in Queens, they actually have driveways that are, kind of like mismatched. Mm-hmm. So that can be a challenge. We also look at subsurface infrastructure. So if there's like a manhole in the way or some other utility, that will prevent us from installing a speed bump. But we're happy to come and look at 228th to see if it's feasible. And my staff is going to reach out because we need to know the cross streets.
What's the cross street that we need?
The problem that we're having on 228 is that a speed bump was installed on 227th, 226th, and 225th. So we have all the traffic. In addition to, we have two mentally challenged children on the block, and one ran into a car the other day. So we are in dire need of a speed bump.
Now, what's the cross street?
130th.
130th? Between
Yes.
130th and 131 or 130?
130th and 131.
Okay.
That's in Lawrence.
Okay, so how long does the analysis take?
About a month and a half, and that's on an expedited track, so we'll definitely drive it tomorrow.
Okay, all right, Ms. Stewart, we're going to be out there. She knows you know folks in high places. Thank you. Thank you. I feel your prayers. Prayers work, you know?
Mayor, I would say that you do that at every town hall. So you would put in that speed bump, but I'm glad you asked for it.
Yes, we're on it. There was another area we needed a speed bump, and they were able to get it done. Where are we? Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
How are you?
I'm good. I live at 107 Cross Merrick Boulevard, and the street there is really bad, right at the bus stop. So I'm asking you, when will it be repaired? Because there are puddles of water, and the buses, cars are coming. You have to run back because some of them drive very fast and splash you. So
On 107th and what?
And Merrick Boulevard.
In Merrick. 107th in Merrick?
Yes. Right at the bus stop.
Okay.
There's a bus stop.
The roadway, is there potholes there?
Yes.
Okay, talk to me, DOT. It's going to be a DOT day.
It's a great day. So we're more than happy to send out our crew. We can have somebody there to do the inspection and see if we can address the ponding and smooth the surface right at the bus stop. So we'll get out there tomorrow. And then we're also going to check to see when it's on the complete repaving schedule. So if it's not on for this year, when we're next in Community Board 12, we'll make sure that our roadways folks are looking to do the curb-to-curb resurfacing in our next season the following year.
But we're going to look at that repair that you're talking about. We're going to look at that repair that you're talking about now. But she said there's a rotation of when we do the entire street pavement. But we're going to look at the exact repair you're talking about. We're not going to wait till next season to do that. So when I leave here, I'm going to go by there also. But we'll take a look at it, all right? Thank you. Where am I going?
Right here, sir.
Hi, good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Okay, how you doing?
Good.
Long time no see.
Yes.
2 weeks ago. Our question is regarding the repairing of the roads. What steps can be taken to repair the roads quicker and faster, as well as make them more accessible for the wheelchair accessibility ramps? Because right along here, we have people that live in the building. They stay in the street to go to CVS and Key Food. And as well as along Brookville.
So we're talking like curve cuts.
Curve cuts and the repair of the streets faster than they're doing them. Like they've been working on Linden Boulevard for quite a while now, and it's still not really fixed yet. And on Brookville Boulevard.
Got it.
Sure. So one of the things that we're quite proud of at DOT is 311. We highly encourage folks to report things like potholes using the 311 app, because those concerns get immediately dispatched to our yard, and we typically get to them in less than 3 days. So that's kind of like the patch job. You can always contact my office. We tend to do our resurfacing schedule, like the mayor said, several months in advance, planning for the next year. So if there are larger streets that we need to get to make the investment and repave curb to curb, we're more than happy to look at that. With regard to accessibility, and also the pedestrian ramps at the corners. Yes. So one of the things that the city is doing now under DOT is that every spring we go into communities and we are repairing them to make sure that they're accessible for folks in wheelchairs, or if they're pushing grocery carts or strollers, etc. Our aim is to get to all of them. So if there are particular ones, and I'm not sure if this is where Brookville comes up, but my staffer, we'd like to get your information so we can find out where on our list these pedestrian ramps are in our system. And if it doesn't have this like a sewer next to it, or one of those big wooden utility poles, we might be able to get to it in-house very quickly this season.
Now, who's doing that walkthrough to look at the roadways? Is it DOT or is it Department of Aging?
No, it's a partnership that comes out of the cabinet. It's DOT and aging.
Can we
get
talk about it?
together.
Can we talk about explaining
Sure.
what we're doing?
Do you want to do it, or you want me to do it? Okay, great. So one of the things that has come out of the cabinet is, and maybe we can do one here in Queens, is that we have an audit done of a particular community where older adults go with the DOT staff as well as some engineers and do a survey of the community as to streets, holes, lights. You know, are they delayed enough? Or are they not delayed enough? Where would we want some traffic boulders and things to slow traffic down? But it is done with older adults so that they're doing the input, not just with the engineers. What we could do is work with DOT to make sure that we get one for the Jamaica area sooner than later. All right? Great.
So this way you move around with the DOT folks and the Department of Aging, and they see what you see. So they come in, they walk through, and they look at what you're talking about with ramps, what you're looking at, what you're talking about street and pavement improvements. So we walk through, they walk through and do an analysis based on what you're seeing and navigating. Okay, so why don't we look to do one of those surveys here, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
This very dapper gentleman right here, sir.
What's happening?
Mr. Mayor, how are you?
Good to see you.
How you doing?
Good, good.
Mr. Mayor, my name is Ted Fraser.
You got to tell me that.
And I want to start with this. My mother wanted me to give you her complaints. I want to begin with this. How do we donate to your campaign? How do we get you back for a second term, if not a third one? Because you deserve it. You've been wrongfully vilified in the media, and it's disgusting and reprehensible. So I want to know, I'm sure everyone does, how do we get you to stay here? What do we do? How do we do it? Where do we start?
Well, for first start with prayer. Prayer works.
We've been doing that.
That's the power of prayer. Yeah. And since this is a government event,
yes.
You know, if I were to go into campaigning,
I don't want to get you in trouble.
You know, right.
So
but
you know what?
Power of prayer, and let's stay conscious of the campaign, and everybody should come out and talk about their record.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Talk about their record. Yes.
Gotcha. Here's the complaint.
What's your question from your table?
Here it is.
Yes.
There's necessary construction going along.
Yes.
The Van Wyck Expressway towards Kennedy Airport.
Yes.
And due to that construction, the road and highway repair, there are big vibrations whenever they're working, because what they have to do is drill into the earth and then pound huge girders into the ground. While they're doing that, houses are vibrating, and particularly in my mother's house and in front of it, the sidewalk is cracked. The brick fence is cracked, and some things in the home, because it's an old home. She's got a landmarked house. It's over 100 years old. So there are issues there for that. I don't know how many people are having the problem, but I hear it.
Who's doing those repairs, state or on the Van Wyck? Yeah. It's a state. So what we need to do is connect with state DOT and find out when there are
on completion.
When they're doing those repairs, if there are damages to the structure, there's a way to put in a complaint and file a complaint.
Oh,
okay. Yes.
I haven't been aware of that. When they replace sewer pipes.
Okay.
Began.
Okay.
It's been exacerbated.
We're doing those sewer pipes, right?
They were done.
DP's not here. Okay. They're done.
That's all completed. Afterwards.
I'm sorry, they left, boy. Okay. All right. So let us.
It was
which street are we talking? Which street? Which is
109th Avenue.
109th Avenue. And 135th. Okay. So can we do this, DJ? Can we connect and let's find out exactly? Let's send CAU over there, find out exactly where it is, and if it's because of the sewer, there's ways to put in for the claims. If it's city, if it's a state, we'll put you in contact with the right state person. Okay?
Fair enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Good seeing you, brother. You know,
Pleasure's all mine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
you've been a good son. You know that.
Right here, sir.
Good
How are you?
afternoon. This question is coming from Virginia, but it affects all of us that come to the center. It needs a stop sign or a traffic light at the corner
This one not on
at 16601 Linden Boulevard.
166 and what?
Dash 01, right here.
Okay. Right when we came out, talk to me,
Right.
DOT. Told you this is DOT day.
Sure. So there's a possibility that we might have studied it in the past. I know we have gotten a lot of fielded requests from like schools and senior centers, but I do want to check on the case history. We're going to initiate a study right away and expedite it and see if we can get an all-way or a traffic signal.
So tell me something. Are traffic signals based on federal law? With signs, traffic signs? Are they based on federal law? Are they based on what? We do an analysis policy? Like, what are they based on?
Yeah, sure. So when we do the study, we follow guidelines from the federal government. So we count things like traffic, so that's cars, also pedestrians, volumes, if there are points of conflict. And there are actually 7, we call them warrant systems, and those are handed down to us by the federal government. Happy to share, that criteria with anyone who's interested. It's actually posted on our website. But we match up the mathematics with these warrants. And if it meets, then we get a signal. But over the past 3 years, we've been meeting more closely with local communities because you experience your streets a lot different than when our engineers are out a couple of days a week counting traffic. So getting that hyper-local intelligence is really important, and that's how we can maximize the counts.
Yeah, because I never understood this, so I'm sort of curious also. Especially traffic lights I know that's a whole lot of stuff. But it's traffic signs. Does the federal government say, no, you can't put a sign there? Or does the federal government say, this is a good idea to put a sign there? Like, how do we make that determination if a sign is going up? Do they make a recommendation or do they give us a requirement?
I know we follow it. I don't want to speak out of my lane, so I will double check.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I follow law, but I make policy. If the policy gives me the discretion to put a sign up, we're putting a sign up. So now if the law say I can't put it up, which I can't see why, if it's about just making that determination of, which if you feel, that's, you telling me you need a sign and you're feeling safe, that's a good enough study for me. So let's find, I'm going to find out, all right? DJ, make sure we drill down on it. I want to find out, is it the law that says you can only put stop signs in certain places, or do they give us a recommendation, and then we set the policy? If it's the policy, we're putting the sign up.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, right over here.
Yes. How are you, sir?
Well, thank you so much for coming to visit us. It's really a pleasure. We always see you on TV, and battling all those questions, and you answer them so perfectly, And I'm so happy that you look like me and I look like you.
That's why you're around all these ladies.
It's good.
I'm not going to ask you which one's your boo.
I feel so proud that you can be shoulder to shoulder with all those other people and answer them,
That's right.
with style, correctness. You look good. You're in perfect shape.
You got to take him on the campaign trail.
New York City is a partner with our brother Adams.
Yes.
Right. So I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
But this city has numerous problems, and you're attacking all of them. And thank God for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I just had a conversation with my car insurance company, and they raised my insurance $600 for the next 6 months. And I asked him why. He said, well, they felt that the city they rated the city 30-mile radius from where I live. They felt it wasn't safe enough or it needed improvements. That's 60 miles from one point to the other. That's the whole Queens and the Bronx and Manhattan. They felt it's not safe enough, so they have to increase my insurance. So I don't know what the answer is. Could it be political or whatever? But it's hitting me in my pocket. Right. I'm on Social Security, which is stable. Right. And here it is, increasing the insurance, I say over 20%. So I'd like to know what, I think you're doing a great job, but I think what are we doing to lower the insurance rates given to this area?
Yeah, now this is car insurance?
Car insurance.
Car insurance. Okay. The goal is we have to speak with the chair of the state insurance. The chair of the state insurance. You know, let's find that out. DJ is busy today, man. Okay, we need to get the chair of the state insurance. Whomever is the assembly person and the state senator, because they can bring these guys in. Because you know, insurance companies. You know, fast to invoice, slow to pay. And so we want you to communicate with the state insurance, and we really should get everyone involved that's been impacted in this area. But that is regulated through our state insurance. That's the state lawmakers. We're going to give you the name of the individuals who are responsible with state senator and state assembly person, so you can communicate and get everyone else to communicate with these increases. 20% is a lot. And I don't know how they're doing analysis based on safety. They must be doing it based on traffic accidents, not based on public safety, based on traffic accidents. But we'll find out. We'll find out exactly who's the assembly person and the senator that is in charge of this insurance committee. And that's how we can drill down on it, okay? DJ is going to come over to you, okay?
That's his question. This is the table's question. Mr. Mayor, the table wanted to know what is the plan for making our subways safe?
Great question. You know, and we hear that often because, you know how many riders we have on the subway system every day? We have 4.6 million riders on our subway system every day. 4.6 million every day. If I were to say, do you think we have what? 200 crimes a day? How many people think we have 200 crimes a day on our subway system? Okay, 500? Okay. You know how many crimes we have on our subway system a day? 6. Out of 4.6 million riders, we have 6 felonies a day on average. Matter of fact, no, we're down to 5 point something now. Now, why do you feel like it's unsafe? Because every day you wake up and you read and hear about the worst thing that could happen on the subway system. And you begin to believe that, okay, every day this is happening on the subway system, everyone that rides on the subway system. It's just not true. So that's why I put 1,000 more cops in the subway system. That's why the commissioner put cops on the train from 9 p.m. into the morning hours, because I know part of being safe is not only hearing the numbers, you got to feel safe. And so we wanted to have that omnipresence of a police officer that you can see them and feel safe. Now, what else we have to do? We have to deal with people who are dealing with severe mental health illness that are in our subway system. That's why we're fighting right now in Albany to do the involuntary removal bill, so that we can give people the help they need. There's no dignity in allowing someone to live on a subway system, no shoes on, their clothing is soiled, they're yelling, they're screaming. Look at those cases of people being pushed to the subway track, severe mental health illness, overwhelmingly. And so to add to what we're doing with numbers, we want the visible presence of the police officer, but we also want to give people the care so that they don't live on our subway system. That's how we make you feel what we have been able to achieve. We have had historical decreases. You take out that 1 year from COVID, we've had straight decreases. I'm safest in years outside that 1 year where people were not on our subway system. But we got to do more. We want to get rid of those 6 felonies. But let's be clear, we have continuously maintained the safety of our subway system, and we put the resources down there every day. I was a former transit cop, so I know what it is to be down in the system and don't feel safe in the system, because that is an important part of transportation for us. Good to see former State Senator Malcolm Smith that's here in the room as well, you know.
Here, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Right over here.
Okay.
I know you go back a couple of years like me when they used to advertise cross at the green, not in between.
Yes.
Now we have to deal with these scooters. We don't mind the scooters, but what happens is they drive as though they own the streets and the area that they're supposed to be staying in. And when they finish using them, they just drop them anywhere. Now we need to have them put them at least on the corners where they're not bothering anyone, but not dropping them in front of people's homes. Okay?
100%. And I don't think every town hall, talk to me, DOT, you know, you hear it, you know, we all hear it. You know, especially out here. When I come out to Queens, they tell me about those darn green-looking scooters, you know. line, right. Talk to me.
So last summer, we introduced e-scooters to Queens, going from Flushing to Southeast Queens. And to date, we've seen more than 900,000 people taking 900,000 trips being taken on these scooters. And one really fun fact is that in Community Board 12, it represents 22% of the geography of the Queens scooter service, but 66% of the ridership. So what we're finding is folks are finding these convenient, but we hear you loud and clear. The organization was off, enforcement was off. So what we did was we worked with these 3 companies to install more corrals. So those are designated spots where the scooter riders are expected to drop them off, so they're not being dropped off in people's driveways or against people's front gates, etc. We're finding a lot of positive feedback about that. Another thing is that we worked with the companies, and they have jointly, there are 3 companies that provide the service. They have jointly hired 12 people from Queens to canvass the streets. So if they see them knocked down, they pick them up. And if you call 311 or you call my office, if there's an issue, we can dispatch someone from this team to go tidy them up, etc. Also, with regard to just rules of the road, every time the person goes to use one of these scooters, like they have to sign, virtually through their phones, go over the rules, etc. And when people are first doing their ride, say their first ride or second ride, there's actually a mechanism that these companies implement so that they cannot go fast until they get comfortable being on these scooters.
So, because I heard you loud and clear, you stated that, listen, we're not against the scooters, but we want them to follow the rules of the road. And so when we first heard about these complaints, we spoke with the companies and said, you got to clean up your act, because if you want to be in New York, you got to get it right. And so if one of these companies, if they are habitual abusers, we're going to re-examine, can they actually operate in here? Because the scooters can't, It's a little better when I saw the first time. I think, Malcolm, you brought this to my attention. At the first time when I came out here, the scooters were everywhere. You know, and so if you see someone that's a nuisance, just take a quick picture and send it over to us. But we're going to hold these companies accountable. And I like corral should be on the corner. It should be organized. It can't be in just disarray. People don't need to just pull up to their house. They need to get their steps in anyway. Park on the corner and walk a few steps. You know. But we heard it before and we're on it.
Here, Mayor.
Yes. How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine this morning, blessed by the best. My name is Evangelist Monroe, and I grew up in Queens. My sister, she still lives here, Barbara Alexander. On the corner, they were just talking about 161st Street. But she lives 114 or 166. The whole sidewalk is coming up like this. People are claiming that they have accidents there. They tell her they can't move that. It belongs to the city. Well, I was invited here today to say I'm enjoying myself here, seeing you. I only see you on television. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina now. I'll be 80 years old in 6 months. And this place here was beautiful at one time. If they could only have more of these community meetings that they have now, not only for seniors, but young adults, because that's their future, and their children are the future. And if they see what's going on now about those scooters or whatever it is, riding up and down the street, all over the place, no, people are afraid to stop them. What they should do, when I was growing up, you had an officer on that corner, 1-5 down there. That was in Brooklyn at that time. They don't do that anymore. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to call 911 and tell them that, oh, they're over there with 2 scooters and turn upside down and la-la-la-la-la-la. No. But you keep up your good work, and God will bless you for what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you know, first of all, we want you back. Leave North Carolina. Come on back up here. You know, but no, you're right. We're doing so much in the New York City public schools of the chancellor, because you're right. We were at one town hall, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Commissioner, where some of our older adults were talking about just the disrespect that they're getting as we move throughout the city. Everyone talks about how respect for all, but I think sometimes we ignore some of the disrespect that we're showing to our older adults, and we want to incorporate that into our school system. Our young people have to re-engage and respect their older adults. You know, some of the terminology that's used, some of the things that they do, we need to re-engage that and be intentional about that. And so you're right. And our young people, they are the focus of many of the things that we are doing on how we improve them for the future. We don't just want them to be academically smart. We want them to be emotionally intelligent, to be kind, to be thoughtful, to be caring. Like you sitting here with your mom, you know, doing what's right, you know, because I am a self-proclaimed mama's boy, you know, 100%, you know. So I didn't see Lenny. Yeah. What's up, brother? Lenny and I went to Bayside High School together. You know that? You know, I'm going to say a special prayer for you. Yes. Where are we? Where are we? Oh, man. It's like a reunion.
May I want to remind you that through your cabinet,
yes,
you are doing that already in high schools and now in middle schools. So with the mayor started this cabinet where we had 24 agencies together with the Department of Education. We are doing a curriculum just to teach young people, like, what is ages, what's all those little nasty things that people say, like move on, I can't hear you, you're walking too slow, and really teaching them a lot of the stuff that we used to do, and that we also had that in the neighborhoods, now we're doing it in schools too. It's a program, it's gotten recognition, we just are going to do more of it. So you're doing it already.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Go over here, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Great. How are you, Mr. Mayor?
Good.
Do you want to? Little shy. So the question that was brought up to the table, what is the mayor doing to keep all of New Yorkers safe throughout the city of New York? And then I got a bonus regarding the sidewalk, but you don't want to say it. Okay. But the major question is, what is the mayor doing to keep all New Yorkers safe throughout the city?
Yeah, safety, I said this over and over again, safety is a prerequisite to our prosperity. If we're not safe, you can't prosper in the city. From the days of policing to what I did as a state senator, borough president, now the mayor, we zeroed in on quality of life issues. We removed, as I stated, everything from traffic enforcement, 80,000 illegal vehicles off our streets, to 21,000, I think we're up to 22,000 now, illegal guns off our streets. Many of them were ghost guns. Some of them were, I should say, ghost guns that you could manufacture right in your own home. We zeroed in on everything from the burglaries to grand larcenies, really putting a focus on what the commissioner introduced, what's called zone policing, to look at those trouble spots and trouble areas. We all know the trouble spots and trouble areas were just historically we were having a public safety issue. So our crime numbers are extremely down, but we want to do more than just talk about how successful we are with stats. You have to feel safe. And going back to, having our police officers parking out, walking down the block, engaging with folks. My kid brother was a community affairs sergeant, and he often talk about just getting out and engaging in the conversation. That is how people start feeling safe. To match our success and bringing down crime, we have to make you feel safe at the same time. And that's our goal, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to amplify our success. We're going to give that visual presence. We're getting ready to roll out a new initiative for just quality of life issues, those abandoned vehicles on your blocks, those places where houses are abandoned, houses are dirty. We're going to bring that down to the precinct level and have the officers report to the proper agencies to correct those problems that you're seeing in your community or on the block. But it's a combination. Our success in numbers must match what people are feeling. That's so important.
Good afternoon, everyone.
How are you?
My name is Rhonda Perkins, and I live on Troutville Road, and the cross street is Merrick Boulevard and Sunbury Road. My question is, when they start the new rules about garbage collection and composting, on my side of St. Albans, we never got the compost can. And now I see we're required to get the new cans with the lids that doesn't come off. Does the senior have to bear the cost of buying all those cans?
Yeah, that was the question?
Yeah, because now you need a black can with its lid that doesn't come off, a compost can, a green can, and a blue can. Do I have to buy all those cans in order to do my garbage correct?
Right.
Because they come twice a week, Tuesday and Friday. Right. So those cans are going to cost me between $200 and $300.
Yeah, I'm sure that many of you feel the way I feel about rats, and the only way we're going to get rid of the rat population is to take the food off the street. Garbage bags are all-you-can-eat buffets for rats. And the rat population was getting out of control in the city. That's why we instituted the trash bins. The brown bins, which is for recycled food waste, those we were giving out free. Yeah. And historically, when we do those type of programs, we ignore places like South Jamaica, Queens, St. Albans, Cambridge Heights, Laurelton. And I said, no, we're not doing that. You normally do these programs in other communities. No, we're going to bring it to our community as well. That's why we rolled it out here, and it was extremely successful when we rolled out these food waste bins in this community. The food waste and composting went through the roof. People loved it. They lobbied for it. They got it, and we did it. Now, the cost of that bin, that brown bin, is free. It was given out. The cost of the garbage bin it's a cost below retail value. I believe we're going to be trying to roll out in the Center for Seniors. I don't know where they are on that now, but we'll find out. But our goal is to get the garbage off the streets. Those garbage plastic bags, they had those peppermint bags that said the rats was afraid of. The rat laughed at those. You know, you got to get garbage off the street. That is the key to cleanliness, getting the garbage off the street. What are we doing with that program? Are we doing it?
So we are actually working through the process right now. As you know, City Council did pass that law. So we're kind of waiting for.
This is the
yes
for seniors.
Yes, sir.
For the cost.
Yes, for the cost of the garbage can. Yes.
Okay. All right. So we just shared that we're looking to do some type of program for our seniors on the garbage can. It's a great investment for us. You know, we spend a little, but we're going to get a lot, and we're bringing down some of the costs. Because our whole goal is put money back in your pocket, not take money out of your pocket. We put $30 billion back in the pockets of New Yorkers. $30 billion back in the pockets of New Yorkers. And so if we can find a way, those on fixed income, seniors, those on Social Security, if we can find a way to pay a little more to get you to pay, we're gonna try to figure that out. Okay.
I want to kind of know where she is.
I'm sorry? You always love it.
I'm going to
love it.
Mr. Mayor? Yes, I'm going to actually have my chief over there maybe speak with her as well to kind of get exactly where she lives, and we'll take a look at that issue that she's having in that area.
Okay. All right, so let's go over to the table.
Last table over here, sir.
Yes. How are you, sir?
Mr. Mayor?
Good to see you, man.
Thank you for taking my question. All right. I'm glad that you lived in this neighborhood at one time.
Yes.
If you remember, between this building and Gaia Brewer Boulevard, it used to be a garbage dump.
That's right.
The Allen Church with Reverend Floyd Flake built 50 beautiful homes right across over there. Those homes were worth about $250,000. Today, they're worth about $1 billion each because the people that live there have taken care of those homes. The problem that I have, or that we have been having, is that across from those homes, there was a multi-service center built. That multi-service center at one time was being administered by Queens General Hospital. Never had a problem with the center. Since COVID, another unit came in. All the agencies in that center are city funded. They have begun to have concerts in the parking lot, making so much noise and bringing so many people from outside of the neighborhood that we cannot stand it. We are seniors. We have made complaints to the police, complaints to our council person, complaints to your office. Nobody has responded. We need to stop those concerts. They can take those concerts over to Roy Wilkins. I have no problems with them getting monies from those concerts, but they do not belong in this community. I will appreciate it if something is done about it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And that's off of Gaia Brewer?
Gaia Brewer, it's 114-02 Gaia Brewer Boulevard. It's Gaia Brewer and Linden.
Got it. Okay. Gaia Brewer and Linden. Okay. Yep. I remember. I know exactly which one. Talking about that, Inspector.
Good evening.
Excuse me.
Good afternoon.
Excuse me. The police is giving them permits and sending people over there. Okay, to take care of them.
Sir, my name is Deputy Inspector Sean Claxton. I'm the commanding officer of 113 Precinct. Newly commanding officer, actually only been there about 2 months now. Thank you. But actually, let me publicly thank our mayor and our police commissioner for affording me this tremendous opportunity to be the commanding officer of this precinct. Most people don't know I was actually born and raised here, right here in South Jamaica, Queens, Farmers and Merrick. So this community is near and dear to my heart, right? Once I took the mantle from the Inspector Jenkins, first thing I did was ask my community affairs. I want to know all the quality of life issues. Because I still live in this community, not in 113 precinct anymore. I live in a 116, but I'm well aware of the quality of life issues and struggles. We spoke about the bikes, the scooters. You know, we all hate stepping out of our house, myself included, and there's a scooter right in the front, right? But that issue is something I'm well aware of. The summer hasn't happened yet, but I do know in the summertime, right there on Linden and Garbrook, these parties in the parking lot. And it is our plan, and I've already started speaking with the individuals, the organizers of these events, because you know, you deserve to have a certain level of quality of life. Listen, my family members and my friends live in this community as well, and you have to have an above average quality of life to me, because only then will my friends and my family enjoy that same quality of life. So that is a condition that we are aware of. The summer hasn't kicked off yet, but we will work to ensure that it won't be a nuisance to this area. All right? I've actually spoke to one of the organizers from that usually organizes those parties yesterday in my office. Me and him personally spoke. We didn't speak about that, but I know that he is one of the organizers. But you have to formulate and cultivate a relationship with individuals before you start making demands, because it's better for everybody. We all have to live in this community.
Yeah, no, we yeah. Listen, we're going to look into, first of all, thank you for bringing this to our attention. And I agree with you. If we're going to hold concerts, those concerts should be in the park. It should be in a park. It should not be in the midst of a working class community. So let us find out. You know, I don't even know why they're using the parking lot as a concert venue. That breeds trouble. You know, so let us look into it. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
One last question, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
You had a question too, ma'am? Yes, you do. Okay, I'm gonna give you my mic. Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor.
How are you?
Good. My name
I
is
know you.
Jennifer Taylor, and my daughter Dawn was gunned down and murdered on December the 17th, 2021. And I have been advocating for gun violence since that day. I want to know, what is the plan to support survivors that are impacted by gun violence?
Do you know, by the way, do you know Jackie Rowe Adams? Okay, all right. That's my sister. When she first started her organization, I was a sergeant in the police department. We started together. Her organization is called Harlem Mothers Save. I think it was back in, God knows, must have been about 20 years ago. You know when she started, DJ? 20 plus years ago. So this is something that I've been part of almost my entire adult life. There's several things that we need to do. Number one, we need to stop the recidivism. There are too many shooters who are caught with guns, go to court, and they back out on the street. And we've been going back and forth to Albany and say you need to strengthen these, not only the bail laws, the discovery laws, all of these laws that had unintended consequences. And we're seeing it over and over and over again on all of these different crimes that some people just have made up their mind they're going to be disrupted, they're going to be violent. And if we don't close those gaps, then we're going to have mothers like you have to deal with this trauma. And I deal with this all the time. My first week in office, I had an 11-month-old baby that was shot in her head. That thank God she lived, but I had to sit in that hospital with her. You know, Mora and Rivera, two officers that were gunned down during the whole my first 2 weeks in office. It was baptized by fire, and gun violence is the problem. And that's why I stated removing those 22,000 guns, 22,000 guns off the streets of the city. I was just with the DA yesterday with a group of 16 people that committed 50% of the shootings in one precinct location. There's these repeated offenders over and over and over again. I'm not sure who was the shooter in your daughter's case, but I would bet you they had some priors, you know, in their action. And so here's what we're doing. We put in place our crisis management team that's zeroing in on gun violence and trigger pullers and shooters. We're collaborating with our federal and state agencies to look at those who are bringing guns in our community. We're going after those ghost guns where people are manufacturing guns in their home. A lot of the guns, a number of the guns that we took out of people who made the guns in their homes. It's important that we ensure that all of our precincts zero in on these areas of gun violence, but we want to be proactive also. Deputy Commissioner Stewart has a number of programs that he's grabbing these young people early before they get engaged in this violence, because the goal is not only to lock them up, the goal is to lift them up and give them the support that they need so they don't become part of some of the criminality that we're seeing. But we're focused on this. This has been a major, major issue for me. Like I said, we have the least amount of shootings in recorded history in this city during this quarter, and we're going to continue to drive down violence so mothers like you don't have to experience this pain. But I thank you for turning your pain into purpose. You have been an advocate. You have been standing strong. You didn't say, woe is me. You said, why not me? And you're saving children based on the work that you're doing. I cannot thank you enough, because it's hard to be in a painful moment and still move forward. You wanted to add something?
Thank you so much. I just, Mike Bobbitt, I'm with the Department of Youth and Community Development. I just wanted to build on what the mayor was saying. He mentioned the crisis management system. So as part of the mayor's vision, all of the anti-gun violence programs have been relocated and are part of the Department of Youth and Community Development. And one of the reasons we've done that is as these interventions take place with shooters, with prospective shooters, with family members who've been impacted by violence, that we can direct them to other resources to support and uplift those families. So I want to make sure that I get your information, because last year we piloted something where we're actually having grief and counseling and retreats for families that have been impacted by violence and who are survivors. And I can think of one case where my team helped a mom because she wanted to create a foundation. She was, as the mayor pointed out, taking the pain and transforming it to purpose. So if that's something you're interested in, I would love to get your information, and I will have my team be in touch with you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm a member of the Alpha Phi Alpha Senior Center. And my question is, my church on Tabernacle CME is located at 11662 Farmers Boulevard. I want to know, can a change of address be made and how you go about it? Because the seniors are being let off by public transportation, whatever vehicle, on Farmers Boulevard. Why do they have to be put off on Farmers Boulevard when the interest is on Tioga?
I love New York. You know, I love New York, man. So the borough president does the addresses, you know, so I don't know if there's a reason that address is there, but it's the borough president. You have a great borough president here, Donovan Riches, and we should connect, all right, to let them explain, and if not, change the address so that when you tell that assessor ride, that Uber or your son or whomever, here's the address, you better get me there. They're gonna get you there. But it's Borough President Donovan Riches. You know Donovan? Okay. When I was the borough president, we did all the addresses. So that's what's happening. Listen, people may not know everybody, but they know their mayor, man. They don't care, you know. They come to, you would be amazed at what people come to me with from time to time. You know, they know, go get that mayor. We saw your butt on TV, so you better have the answer to the question. That's just the reality. Listen, thank you for allowing me to come in. We're going to get your address changed. Good to see you all.